Generation Z and the culture of addiction. Generation Z is the first generation to grow up fully immersed in the digital world. From an early age, these young people have had access to high-speed internet, social media, and mobile devices that have shaped not only their way of communicating, but also their habits and behaviors. Although this hyperconnectivity has brought undeniable benefits, such as access to information, new learning methods, and the possibility of global connection, it has also introduced a growing and often underestimated problem: a culture of addiction. In recent years, it has become increasingly clear that dependency isn't limited to consuming substances like alcohol and illicit drugs. Addiction today is deeply rooted in everyday behaviors among Generation Z, such as compulsive social media use, excessive digital entertainment consumption, impulsive shopping, and even the constant need for online validation. These practices not only affect individual well-being, but also reshape how this generation sees the world, relates to others, and plans for the future. The normalization of digital dependency. If there is something that sets Generation Z apart from previous generations, it is how naturally technology has become an integral part of their lives. Unlike millennials and older generations, who witnessed the transition from an analog world to a digital one, Generation Z never knew a reality without fast internet, smartphones, and social networks. This continuous exposure to technological stimuli led to excessive digital consumption, no longer being viewed as harmful, but instead seen as the new normal. The algorithms of digital platforms are designed to keep users engaged for as long as possible, exploiting psychological vulnerabilities and generating a cycle of dependency. Infinite scrolling on apps like Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter creates an uninterrupted flow of content that holds users' attention, making it difficult to disconnect. With each new scroll, the brain receives small doses of dopamine, the neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward, encouraging users to continue consuming without noticing the passage of time. This relentless search for quick, rewarding stimuli directly impacts the ability to concentrate and make decisions. Generation Z is known for its digital impatience, expecting instantaneous answers and short, dynamic content. This behavior is not limited to entertainment. It extends to all areas of life, from relationships to the job market. The difficulty in dealing with boredom and the constant need for distraction make it hard for many young people to develop deeper, long-lasting habits, such as reading, learning new skills, and building genuine connections. The pressure of online validation. Another factor contributing to this culture of addiction is the incessant need for digital validation. Social networks like Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat have become arenas of comparison where every like, comment, and share functions as a form of social approval. The problem is that this instant validation creates an emotional dependency that can profoundly affect self-esteem and the perception of personal worth. Young people in Generation Z are constantly exposed to unrealistic standards of beauty, success, and lifestyle. Profiles showcasing perfect trips, sculpted bodies, and ultra-productive routines create the illusion that life should always be exciting and flawless. This constant comparison generates feelings of inadequacy and low self-esteem, leading many to adopt compulsive behaviors in an attempt to fill that emotional void. To alleviate this feeling, some turn to online shopping, others to excessive digital consumption, and still others to chemical substances like vapes or anti-anxiety medications. The culture of instant consumption. Another key element in the normalization of addiction is the culture of instant consumption, fueled by new dynamics in digital commerce. Shopping apps like Shopee, Shein, and Amazon offer an extremely fast and accessible shopping experience, allowing users to buy products with just a few clicks. The problem is that this consumption is often not rational, but emotional. The purchase becomes a form of escape, a way to relieve stress or fill a momentary void. This behavior is reinforced by highly sophisticated marketing strategies that use artificial intelligence to predict consumer desires before the user is even aware of them. Personalized offers, flash discounts, and constant notifications encourage impulsive purchases, creating a cycle of immediate gratification similar to that found in substance addiction. The result? An increase in debt among young people, as well as a pattern of consumption that cannot be sustained in the long term. The invisible addictions of Generation Z. What makes this culture of addiction even more dangerous is that many of these habits are socially accepted and even encouraged. Unlike alcohol or illicit drug addiction, which carries stigma and is recognized as harmful, digital addiction, unchecked consumption, and the relentless pursuit of stimuli are all normalized by modern society. Spending hours on a smartphone, impulse shopping, and seeking approval on social media are common behaviors and often even admired. However, the effects of this dependency are already beginning to show. Research indicates that Generation Z is among the most anxious and depressed in history, with alarming levels of stress and loneliness. The constant need to be connected leads to mental fatigue that can eventually result in burnout and emotional detachment. In addition, hyperconnectivity creates the illusion of social proximity, but in practice, many young people report feeling more isolated than ever. The dopamine cycle. How algorithms trap attention. Generation Z lives in a world designed to capture and hold its attention. Social media, streaming platforms, shopping apps, and even mobile games are not just tools for entertainment, but true addictive machines, meticulously designed to maximize usage time. Behind this digital dependency lies a crucial biological factor: the role of dopamine, the neurotransmitter responsible for pleasure and reward. In this section, we will understand how the dopamine cycle keeps Generation Z locked into digital consumption, how social media algorithms exploit this vulnerability, and what the impacts of this behavior are on mental and emotional well-being. What is dopamine and how does it influence behavior? Dopamine is one of the brain's main neurotransmitters, responsible for the sensation of pleasure and reward. Whenever we perform an activity that the brain deems beneficial for survival, such as eating, socializing, or achieving a goal, dopamine is released, creating a feeling of well-being and motivating the repetition of that behavior. However, modern technology has hacked this biological system. The human brain was not designed to handle the sheer amount of stimuli provided by the internet. Today, activities like liking a post, receiving a notification, or watching a funny TikTok video trigger a dopamine release similar to what occurs when consuming sugar, nicotine, or even some drugs. This means that simply scrolling through your phone can produce a brief moment of pleasure, prompting you to repeat the behavior incessantly. This constant quest for small doses of pleasure creates an addictive cycle. The more digital stimuli we consume, the more we need them to feel good. This leads to a state of chronic dissatisfaction, where nothing seems interesting or rewarding for very long. Social media, the experimental lab of digital pleasure. Social networks are designed to maximize user engagement time. Companies like Meta, Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter invest billions of dollars in research to understand how to keep people glued to their platforms. They do this through algorithms that tailor displayed content to each individual, increasing the likelihood that they will keep consuming without noticing the passage of time. Key strategies used by algorithms to hook users. Infinite scroll. The social media feed never ends. There's always new content waiting to be consumed, preventing the brain from setting a stopping point. Unlike a book or a movie, which have a beginning, middle, and end, the social media feed is designed to keep users on the platform as long as possible. Notifications and random rewards. Each notification acts as a dopamine trigger. Simply hearing the sound of an incoming message already activates the brain's reward system. Worse still, these notifications aren't always important. They are strategically sent to keep us returning to the app. Likes, comments, and shares. When a post receives likes and comments, dopamine is released, creating a sense of social validation. This drives many people to post more frequently, seeking that instant gratification. Personalized suggestions and short videos. Apps like TikTok and Instagram Reels exploit the effectiveness of short videos to maximize retention. Because each video only lasts a few seconds, users feel they can watch just one more, without realizing they've already spent hours on the platform. The effect of dopamine on mental health. The problem with this artificially stimulated dopamine cycle is that it reduces the brain's ability to find pleasure in more complex and rewarding activities. This means that experiences that previously brought satisfaction, such as reading a book, studying, or even socializing in the real world, can become less interesting when compared to the instant pleasure offered by technology. Direct consequences of this behavior pattern include reduced ability to concentrate. The brain becomes accustomed to quick stimuli and immediate rewards, making it harder to stay focused on activities that require patience and effort, such as studying or working. Increased anxiety and impatience. Because everything in the digital world happens quickly and dynamically, many people develop a low tolerance for frustration, expecting everything in real life to be as immediate as it is on the internet. Emotional dysregulation. When the dopamine system is overloaded by excessive technology use, the ability to feel pleasure in normal activities may decrease, leading to apathy and demotivation. Digital withdrawal cycle. Many people report withdrawal-like symptoms when trying to reduce social media usage, such as irritability, restlessness, and even depression. How to break the dopamine cycle and regain control. The good news is that just as the brain can be conditioned to seek pleasure in excessive digital consumption, it can also be reconditioned to find satisfaction in healthier, more balanced activities. Some strategies include set limits on social media use, create a daily maximum amount of time for app usage and avoid using them before bedtime to reduce digital dependency, practice dopamine detox. The idea of a dopamine detox is to minimize digital stimuli for a set period, a few hours or even an entire day, to help the brain regain its ability to find pleasure in offline activities. Focus on activities that require prolonged attention. Physical exercise, reading, and hands-on hobbies are excellent ways to train the brain to find satisfaction in more enduring experiences. Mute unnecessary notifications. Reducing the number of alerts on your phone prevents constant distractions and decreases the anxiety caused by the urge to check your phone every moment. Replace passive entertainment with active experiences. Instead of spending hours scrolling through Instagram, look for alternatives like learning something new, playing a sport, or spending time with friends. These activities can offer more lasting satisfaction. Generation Z's digital dependency is not an individual failing, but the result of a system designed to exploit the natural functioning of the human brain. Social media, entertainment apps, and e-commerce platforms use sophisticated strategies to keep us constantly connected, often at the expense of our productivity, mental health, and emotional well-being. However, understanding how the dopamine cycle works is already a big step toward regaining control. Small changes in daily habits can make all the difference in building a more balanced relationship with technology. Behavioral addictions beyond drugs and alcohol. When we talk about addictions, the first things that come to mind are chemical substances like alcohol, cigarettes, marijuana, and prescription drugs. However, Generation Z is facing another type of dependence: behavioral addictions. Unlike traditional addictions, these do not involve external substances but rather patterns of behavior that provide immediate pleasure and can become compulsive over time. Among the main behavioral addictions affecting this generation are excessive use of social media, impulsive online shopping, unlimited digital entertainment consumption, videos, series, games, online betting and microtransactions in virtual games, constant pursuit of online validation and perfection, compulsive work and productivity. These behaviors often go unnoticed because they don't carry the same stigma as chemical addictions. However, they can be just as harmful to mental, emotional, and financial health. Let's explore some of the most common examples and understand why they have become a silent epidemic. Social media addiction, the new digital drug. Compulsive social media use has become one of the most evident issues for Generation Z. As discussed previously, the algorithms of these platforms are designed to keep users engaged for as long as possible, providing a constant stream of dopamine. But when does typical usage cross the line into real addiction? Some signs of digital dependency include difficulty going long periods without checking your phone, feeling anxious or irritated when offline, spending more time online than planned, skipping important tasks to browse social media, constantly comparing yourself to others on the internet. The impact of this addiction on mental health is widely studied. Research shows that excessive social media use is directly linked to symptoms of anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem. The need for online validation drives many young people to create edited versions of themselves, sharing only happy and idealized moments. This creates a cycle of comparison and dissatisfaction, triggering emotional problems. Moreover, social media addiction can affect offline social life. Often, time spent in the digital world replaces face-to-face interactions, making young people less likely to develop strong interpersonal skills. Compulsive consumption and online shopping. Another rising behavioral addiction among Generation Z is unrestrained consumption and impulsive online shopping. The ease of buying with a single click, coupled with aggressive digital marketing strategies, has turned spending into a form of seeking pleasure and emotional relief. Platforms like Shopee, Shein, Amazon, and AliExpress utilize algorithms that personalize recommendations based on user behavior, encouraging impulsive purchases. Flash sales, coupon discounts, and the fear of missing a great deal create a sense of urgency, causing people to spend needlessly. The problem with compulsive consumption isn't just financial, it's also the link between consumption and emotional well-being. Many young people buy not because they need something, but because they are bored, anxious, or looking for a distraction. The satisfaction from shopping is fleeting, and before long the need to buy again reappears, creating a vicious cycle. Addiction to digital entertainment, the era of passive consumption. Generation Z has access to an unprecedented level of entertainment. With Netflix, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and video games, content is available anytime, anywhere. However, excessive consumption of entertainment can become a way to escape reality.
How to identify a problematic consumption pattern?
Binge-watching videos or series without time control, feeling guilt or regret for spending too much time on entertainment, preferring digital interaction over real-life experiences, skipping responsibilities or commitments to keep watching or playing. This behavior directly impacts productivity, routines, and mental health. Many young people give up sleep to binge-watch series, harming their sleep quality and compromising performance in other areas of life. Online gambling and microtransactions in games. Another emerging behavioral addiction for Generation Z is the involvement with online gambling, virtual casinos, and microtransactions in electronic games. The gaming industry has evolved into a business model that encourages players to spend money within the games themselves, such as on skins, advantage packs, and upgrades. Microtransactions create a false sense of progress and exclusivity, prompting players to keep spending. For many, this behavior turns into a dangerous financial addiction, leading to debt and self-control issues. With the rise of online sports betting and digital casino platforms, the risk has become even more apparent. Many young people start by betting small amounts, only to find themselves caught in a cycle of adrenaline and progressive financial loss. The culture of excessive productivity. On the opposite end of the behavioral addiction spectrum lies the culture of compulsive productivity. Many members of Generation Z grew up under pressure to stand out, study intensively, and turn hobbies into income. As a result, Doing nothing is seen by many as a failure. The fear of not doing enough leads to early burnout, increased anxiety, and a perpetual cycle of dissatisfaction. The pursuit of extreme productivity can be as damaging as excessive entertainment consumption, often leading to mental and emotional exhaustion. Dealing with behavioral addictions. Like any other type of addiction, compulsive behaviors can be controlled and treated. Some strategies include self-awareness and usage monitoring. The first step to breaking any addiction is recognizing its existence. Track the time spent on social media, online shopping, or entertainment to identify problematic patterns. Setting personal limits and rules. Create schedules for phone use, set a monthly shopping budget, and avoid constant stimuli to reduce the impact of behavioral addictions. Looking for alternatives to fill time. Activities like reading, sports, art, and offline social interaction are essential for replacing compulsive behaviors with healthier habits. Regular digital detox. Introduce device-free periods like a no-tech Sunday or a dedicated detox hour to help rebalance your relationship with technology. Seeking professional help. If a behavior is affecting your personal, financial, or emotional life, psychological support is crucial. The impact on mental health and personal relationships. The growing digital dependence and behavioral addictions of Generation Z don't just affect screen time or shopping habits. They also have a profound impact on mental health and interpersonal relationships. The alarming rise in anxiety, depression, and loneliness among young people in recent years is directly related to excessive technology use, social media comparisons, and a lack of genuine human connections. In this section, we will explore how these behavior patterns influence Generation Z's emotional health, harm their personal relationships, and what paths are available to restore balance. The relationship between digital dependency and mental health. Studies show that Generation Z is experiencing record levels of anxiety and depression. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, mental health disorders are already the leading cause of disability among people aged 15 to 24. But why is this happening? Compulsive technology use creates a series of psychological challenges, including overload of stimuli. The human brain wasn't designed to handle the massive amount of information the internet provides. Constant exposure to negative news, polarized opinions, and images of perfect lives can cause mental fatigue, stress, and a feeling of inadequacy. Excessive social comparison. Life on social media is a filtered, edited version of reality. Perfect profiles, sculpted bodies, luxurious travel, and highly productive routines make many young people feel they never measure up. This phenomenon generates low self-esteem and personal dissatisfaction. Dopamine cycle and instant reward. As discussed, the search for online validation creates a dangerous emotional dependency. The problem is that this gratification is fleeting, leading to emptiness when there are no likes, messages, or digital interactions. Social isolation. Paradoxically, the most connected generation in history is also the loneliest. Time spent in the digital world often replaces in-person interactions, undermining the development of deeper emotional bonds. The rise of anxiety and depression. Anxiety has become a chronic problem for many members of Generation Z. But why does this generation seem so distressed? Excess of choices and uncertainty about the future. The internet has opened up a world of possibilities, but it also creates a paradox. The more options we have, the harder it is to decide. This overload of possibilities, combined with uncertainty about the job market, climate change, and economic crises, fosters a constant state of anxiety. Lack of emotional skills to handle challenges. Because Generation Z grew up with technological solutions for almost everything, many young people have not developed the emotional tools to face frustration and difficulties. This can lead to a low tolerance for adversity, making life's challenges more daunting. Culture of comparison and external validation. When personal worth is based on digital metrics, likes, followers, engagement, self-esteem becomes fragile and unstable. Small fluctuations in online interactions can trigger feelings of rejection and inadequacy. Sleep deprivation. The compulsion to stay on screens before bedtime is a critical factor in rising anxiety and depression. Exposure to blue light inhibits the production of melatonin, making it harder to sleep and exacerbating emotional issues. Generation Z's behavioral addictions reflect the digital era we live in. Social media, impulsive shopping, excessive entertainment, and productivity pressure form dependency cycles that affect young people's mental and emotional health. The good news is that these patterns can be broken through awareness, discipline, and a critical eye on how technology and consumption shape our lives. Even small adjustments to your daily routine can make a significant difference. The impact on personal relationships. In addition to mental health, digital dependency also affects how Generation Z forms relationships. Excessive use of social media, online gaming, and messaging apps is changing the dynamics of friendship, dating, and family life. Superficiality in relationships. Many young people replace deep conversations with quick message exchanges or online interactions. The problem is that digital connections aren't always sufficient to build solid emotional bonds. Without physical contact, facial expressions, and body language, relationships can become more fragile and disposable. Difficulty handling conflicts. Because much social interaction occurs via messaging, many young people find it hard to resolve conflicts face-to-face. Fear of dealing with arguments or discomfort sometimes leads to ghosting, where one person simply disappears from a relationship without explanation. The phubbing phenomenon. Phubbing, ignoring someone nearby to check the phone, is a growing problem in social interactions. Whether on dates, at family gatherings, or hanging out with friends, the phone often becomes more interesting than the actual conversation. This creates a cycle of disconnection where no one is truly present. Loneliness and emotional isolation. Even when surrounded by thousands of virtual friends, many young people feel alone. The absence of deep relationships and real emotional support intensifies feelings of sadness and helplessness. How to reverse this trend? If technology and behavioral addictions are negatively impacting mental health and relationships, what can be done to restore balance? Create intentional moments of disconnection. Define specific times to stay away from screens. Reserve offline moments for high-quality face-to-face interactions. Strengthen real emotional bonds. Prioritize face-to-face meetings with friends and family. Look for activities that promote genuine connections such as sports, volunteering, or shared interest groups. Practice emotional self-regulation. Limit social media use to avoid excessive comparisons. Practice meditation, mindfulness, or therapy to develop emotional intelligence. Improve sleep quality. Avoid screens at least an hour before bed. Create an environment conducive to rest, reducing light and noise. Rediscover hobbies and offline pleasures. Invest in activities that don't involve screens, such as reading, music, art, or sports. Learn to find pleasure in slower, more rewarding experiences. Seek professional help when needed. If anxiety, depression, or isolation are affecting your quality of life, consulting a therapist can be crucial. Generation Z faces unique challenges related to mental health and personal relationships. Excessive technology, the culture of comparison, and a lack of real connections have led to a scenario where loneliness and anxiety are becoming increasingly common. However, all is not lost. Small habit changes and a more mindful approach to how we use technology can significantly improve our quality of life. Balancing the digital world with real life is possible, and each of us can take the first step in that direction. Breaking the cycle. How to overcome addictive habits and take back control. Now that we understand how behavioral addictions affect Generation Z and the role of big corporations in perpetuating this cycle, one crucial question remains. How can we break free from this pattern and regain control over our relationship with technology and consumption? The good news is that, just as digital addictions are formed through unconscious habits, they can be deconstructed by means of conscious, intentional strategies. In this section, we will explore practical ways to reduce digital dependence, improve mental health, and create a more balanced relationship with technology. Practicing digital awareness. The first step in breaking technology dependence is becoming aware of your own habits. Often we spend hours on our phones or shop compulsively without realizing the impact on our well-being. Tips to increase digital awareness. Monitor screen time. Tools like Android's Digital Wellbeing or iPhone's Screen Time show how many hours per day you spend on each app. Seeing this data can be eye-opening. Self-assessment. Ask yourself regularly, am I using technology intentionally or just out of habit? Track your emotions. Whenever you feel like using your phone or making an online purchase, pause and try to identify what you're feeling. Boredom, anxiety, loneliness. This helps you distinguish functional use from emotional use. Redefining your relationship with social media. Social media platforms are among the biggest sources of digital addiction because they're designed to be highly engaging. But it's possible to use them more healthily. How to reduce social media's impact on your life. Set specific times to check social media. Avoid using it first thing in the morning or right before bed. Create time blocks, e.g., 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes at night. Turn off unnecessary notifications. The sound of a notification triggers the desire to check your phone. Muting alerts can lessen the compulsion to constantly check. Follow accounts that add value and remove toxic content. Do a digital cleanup. Unfollow accounts that make you feel inadequate or anxious. Prioritize content that inspires you and doesn't encourage excessive comparison. Try offline days. Dedicate 1 day a week to staying off social media and use that time for real-world activities that bring you joy. Implementing the dopamine detox. A dopamine detox is a strategy to reset the brain and rediscover pleasure in simpler activities. The goal is to reduce digital overstimulation so the brain can once again find satisfaction in more natural experiences.
Steps for an effective dopamine detox. Avoid social media, short videos, and passive entertainment for a set period, a few hours, a day, or even a week. Replace screen time with analog activities, reading, walking, sports, music, or any offline hobby.
Practice mindfulness or meditation to reconnect with the present moment. Embrace productive discomfort. Do activities that require effort and concentration, such as studying, learning something new, or practicing handwriting. After a detox, many people report feeling more focused, productive, and less anxious. Freed from the constant search for digital rewards, the brain starts to find pleasure in more natural experiences. Building healthy habits to replace addictions. Simply removing a harmful habit can be tough. The best approach is to replace it with something positive. Healthy alternatives to replace digital addictions. Instead of starting your day scrolling through your feed, try reading or exercising first thing in the morning. Instead of using your phone before bedtime, write in a journal or meditate. If you feel the urge to make an impulse purchase, wait 24 hours to decide whether you really need it. If you're bored and want to binge watch videos, try learning a new skill or practicing a hobby. These small changes might seem insignificant in the short term, but over time, they can create a significant improvement in overall quality of life. Improving real-life connections. Many digital addictions arise from the need to fill emotional gaps. Creating genuine offline connections can reduce the urge to compensate for emotional emptiness through social media, shopping, or excessive entertainment. How to strengthen relationships outside the digital world. Schedule face-to-face get-togethers. Plan outings with friends, family dinners, or outdoor activities. Engage in deep conversations. Instead of just exchanging short messages, set aside time for meaningful dialogue. Join offline communities, sports teams, volunteering, study groups, or any space that encourages real interaction. People with strong interpersonal relationships tend to have lower levels of anxiety, depression, and digital compulsions. Seeking professional help. If excessive technology use is affecting your mental health or quality of life, seeking psychological support can be crucial. Therapists and psychologists can help you. Identify emotional triggers that lead to compulsive social media use or digital consumption. Develop personalized strategies to cope with anxiety and compulsions. Strengthen emotional skills to build a healthier relationship with technology. There's no shame in asking for help. Caring for your mental health is an investment in your long-term well-being. Conclusion: balance is possible. Generation Z faces unique challenges regarding digital and behavioral addictions. However, it is possible to regain control and develop a healthier relationship with technology and consumption. The key lies in becoming aware of your habits, setting boundaries, practicing dopamine detox, strengthening real-world connections, creating a balanced routine between online and offline. The goal is not to eliminate technology entirely, but to use it consciously and intentionally without becoming a prisoner to algorithms. The future of Generation Z, between connection and disconnection. Generation Z has immense transformative potential. These are creative, questioning, innovative, and highly adaptable young people. However, to fully realize their potential, they must find ways to balance the digital and the real. The digital world offers incredible opportunities, but no notification or like can replace the value of a genuine human connection. No algorithm can fill the emotional void that only authentic relationships, real experiences, and a balanced life can provide. The choice now lies with each individual. Will we remain trapped in the addictive cycle of technology, or will we learn to use it more mindfully? And what about you? What can you do today to take back control of your relationship with technology and build a healthier future? Don't forget to leave your like and subscribe. See you in the next video.